Hey everybody, welcome back to the warbossfitz channel. Today we are going to be going over the alien hives. But first, a word from our sponsor. Fleet admirals, generals, your reinforcements have arrived. At PrintedStarships.com, you will find high-quality 3D printed starships and sci-fi armies ready for deployment. Whether you're commanding fleets in Star Wars or Armada, dogfighting in X-Wing, battling in one-page rules war fleets, or leading ground forces in grimdark future, we've got the precision-crafted models you need to seize victory. Use code warbossfitz for 15% off your order. That's PrintedStarships.com. Prepare to take command of the tabletop. So here we go. Alien hives. Let's see how they are doing in 3.5.1. First thing, we're going to hit the background and the lore. We don't talk about that on this video. We're going to talk about it somewhere else. These guys have a pretty interesting backstory when you break it all down. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there. So, what do they have for the army-wide special rule? They have Hivebound. Units where all models have this rule get +1 to morale test rolls. Spoiler alert, everything in this army has Hivebound. So, special rules. What we got going on here? Agile moves +1 inch when using advance and +2 inches when using rush and charge. Pretty cool. Breath attack. Roll 1 die on a 2-up. One enemy unit within 6 gets hit with a blast 3 AP1. Pretty much it's a pocket heavy flamer. Caster group. This here turns a squad into a caster, and you get as many caster tokens as you have members of the squad. Fortified. When all the models in this unit have this rule, AP -1 to all the attacks coming in to an AP minimum of -0. Like, you can't go to AP +1. We got a Furious buff. Somebody within 12 inches gets Furious. Increased shooting range just as a buff. Everything in the squad gets +6 inch range when it shoots. Infiltrate counts as having ambush, but may be deployed up to 1 inch away from enemy units. We got some sneaky. No retreat. This is what the old undead rule used to be. If you fail a morale test, which again, remember, you got +1 to morale, you roll a dice for every wound that is left in the squad. On a 1 to 3, the unit takes a wound. On a 4, 5, or 6, you don't take a wound, but you don't take the effects. The morale test counts as passed at that point. Piercing growth. This one is a new one for 3.5. Place 1 marker on this unit at the beginning of each round, starting with the round after which it deployed, counting start of game deployment as deploying on the first round. For each marker, models with this rule get AP +1 up to a max of +2. If this unit is ever shaken, it loses all of its markers. So if you got this rule, turn 1 you don't get it, but turn 2 you get 1, and turn 3 you get a second one. So by turn 3 you could have some powerhouse units. Piercing tag. Once per game during this model's activation, pick one enemy unit in 36 and line of sight and place a marker on it. When attacking, friendly units may remove markers, and they get an AP equal to however many markers they took. Precise gets +1 to hit when attacking. Precision debuff, 18 inch range. The enemy gets -1 to hit rolls. Predator fighter. For each unmodified roll of 6 in melee, this model may roll +1 attack with that weapon. So it's like the Predator rule we have for other armies. This one is just melee, and you have to have this rule attached for it. Rapid charge. It goes an extra 4 inches when using charge. Ravage. Whenever you attack in melee, roll a dice, and for each 6+, the target takes 1 wound. No armor save there. Man, this list is long. Regenerative strength. Place a marker on this model when it ignores a wound. When in melee, pick one of its weapons to get +X attacks, where X is the number of markers on it. So we've seen this in Age of Fantasy with Hydras. If you make a whole bunch of regeneration saves or some other save, it's not armor saves. It's not armor saves because technically the wound happens after the armor save. So it has to be the add-on stuff. You get more attacks for every time that you do it. Interesting. Resistance, this gives you an extra 6-up save or a 2-up save if it's from a spell. Retaliate, whenever you take a wound in melee, the attacker takes that many hits. Rupture, ignores regeneration. And on unmodified results of a 6 to hit that aren't blocked, this weapon deals 1 extra wound. Self-destruct, if this model is killed in melee, the attacking unit takes X number of hits. There's going to be a number after this. If it survives in melee after both sides have finished attacking, it is immediately killed and the enemy unit takes X number of hits. This is going to be for like your floating bomb drones and stuff. Shielded units, where all models have this rule, they get +1 to the defense rolls against hits that are not from spells. Shred, unmodified results of 1 to block hits. This weapon deals an extra wound. Spawn, once per game, when this unit is activated, you may place a new unit of X fully within 6 inches of it. You're going to see spawn and then the name of whatever it is they are going to be spawning. Spell conduit, casters within 12 that are from other friendly units may cast spells as if they were in this model's position and get +1 to casting rolls when doing so. So this lets you daisy chain your psychic abilities. Stealth buff, once per activation before attacking, pick 1 friendly unit within 12 and they get stealth, which is -1 to hit them from 9 inches away. Strafing, once per activation, when this model moves through an enemy unit, pick one of them and attack it with this weapon as if it was shooting. This weapon may only be used in this way. Interesting to see where that is. Surge, unmodified results of 6 to hit. This weapon deals 1 extra hit. Surprise attack, counts as having infiltrate, which is all the way over here. Once you deploy with that, roll X number of dice. For each 4-up, 1 enemy unit within 3 inches takes 2 hits with AP1. Takedown strike, once per game. When it's this model's turn to attack in melee, you may pick 1 model in the unit as its target and make 1 attack at quality 2 with AP2 deadly 3, which is resolved as if it is a unit of 1. So this is a melee sniper attack. And then the final special rule, at least in this section, is the unpredictable fighter mark. Once per activation, pick 1 enemy with 18, and friendly units get unpredictable fighter against it. So for the aura special rules, there's the Furious aura. Model in the unit get Furious. Hivebound boost. This model in its unit get Hivebound boost, which is +2 to morale. Increased shooting range aura, everyone gets +6 inches range. Rapid charge aura, everyone charges an extra 4. And shielded aura, everybody gets shielded. Now let's look at the spells here. Animate Spirit. Pick 1 friendly within 12, which gets hit and run fighter once. Overwhelming Strike. Pick 1 enemy within 12. They take 2 hits with AP1 and Rupture. Infuse Bloodthirst. 2 friendly units within 12, they get Hivebound boost. Psychic Blast, pick an enemy within 12, they take 4 hits with AP2. Terror Seeker, pick 3 enemy units within 18, and your stuff get unpredictable fighter against them. And finally, Hive Shriek, pick 1 enemy model with 18, which takes 6 hits with AP1. And this one, pick 1 enemy model, this is a sniper spell. So the offensive spells, those are pretty nice, especially this Hive Shriek, you're going to be able to pick out a character. Normally, the issue that I have with snipers is that the weapons are not strong enough. Like, you got to double up on a squad of 3 snipers to be able to take out a character because, they're normally AP1 or they just have rending, and the enemy's going to make some saves. But with this, 6 hits at AP1, that is enough. Like automatic hits if this spell goes off. That is enough to remove heroes that have a lower defense value and probably take out the higher defense ones. It's like a 3, or at least the toughest 3 ones. And then let's look at the buffs. Terror Seeker, unpredictable fighter on 3 enemy units. That's pretty interesting because you're going to be doing a lot of melee with this army. They are nom-nom, eat everythings. It's got a pretty good range, too. I was going to say if you push forward with this, but, you don't really have to push that far forward. 18-inch range is a pretty long range if you have like a centrally located caster. So Terror Seeker, that is pretty darn good. Next we have Infused Bloodthirst here. This one, the Hive Bond boost. +2 to morale. Maybe if you had them on some of the little guys, like the quality 5 guys, and they don't have a character attached with them. Yeah, I could see that. Pushing those up to quality 3. I don't know. I'm not really a caster guy. I would try to do something else other than this. But I know it is a good spell. I wouldn't trust it to go off when I needed it to, because my history with casters is terrible. But I know it's a good spell. And this one up here, Hit and Run Fighter. After you attack, you make a move up to 3 inches after being melee. So you would have like a 4-inch bounce back, because you got to bounce back 1. And then you have a 3-inch move. Or if you killed whatever it was you're attacking, you get your normal 3-inch overrun plus this, turning it into a 6-inch overrun. Again, maybe a little bit situational, but gets you a little bit more movement out of your melee squads. And that is pretty cool. Alright, let's go into the units, and for that, we're going to jump in like this. And I don't have a list set for this week, but I have an idea, and I'm going to focus on the bigger stuff. So we're going to call this Alien Hives Biggins. And we're going to start here. We're going to go through everything, and then I'm going to build the list at the end, because I want to test something out. So we're going to start off with the first character here, the first hero, probably the best hero in the dang game. We're going to start off with the Hive Lord, 345. Quality 3, defense 2, fear 2, fearless hero, Hive Bond. I keep calling this Hive Boost. If I do, sorry, bear with me. And toughness 12. Comes with a Shredder Cannon, 4 shots at 18 with rending, 2 Razor Claws, 3 attacks a piece of AP1, and 4 attacks AP1 with a Stomp. So you already start off with 10 attacks AP1 and some rending shots. Now let's get into the spicy stuff here. Upgrade it with the Biotechmancer for increased shooting range. Brood Leader for rapid charge. Maybe. Combat Bioengineer for furious. Yes, please. Hive Protector for shielded. Okay. And Psychic Synapses for caster 3. These are all really good. Well, except for maybe increased shooting range. Yeah, I'll show you why in a second. You can replace any heavy Razor Claw with a Piercing Spike for 1 attack AP2 Deadly 3, Smashing Club, 1 attack AP2 Blast of 3, Slashing Blade, 3 attacks AP1 and Rending, a Razor Whip, 3 attacks Bane and Precise, and Serrated Blades, 3 attacks AP4. You can replace the Shredder Cannon with 2 heavy Razor Claws, 3 attacks AP1, Splinter Cannon 24, 2 shots, blast 3. A Barb Cannon 36, 1 shot, AP2, blast 3. Heavy Piercing Spike, 2 attacks, AP2, deadly 3, and reliable. Heavy Smashing Club, 2 attacks, AP2, blast 3, reliable. Heavy Ravager Cannon 18-inch, 6 shots, AP1, and rupture. A Heavy Slashing Blade, 6 attacks, AP1, reliable, and rending. Acid Cannon 36 inches, 1 attack, AP2, deadly 6, and unstoppable. Or Heavy Serrated Blades, 6 attacks, AP4, reliable. You can also upgrade it with wings to give ambush and flying, and you can give it either resistance from a side barrier or regeneration from bio recovery. Now we have a local Alien Hives player. You've seen him on the channel. It's James. His Hive Lords are the bane of everything's existence. So that means I'm going to show you how he builds them. And it's ridiculous. So we go Serrated Blades, we go Heavy Serrated Blades, we do wings, we do regeneration. And then up here, he's been doing a lot of shielded to this. Because, we've started to fight against it with heavier AP guns. So what do we got? 585 points. We have an ambushing, flying, regeneration, shielded, toughness 12 model. 4 attacks AP1, 6 attacks AP4, and 6 attacks AP4 reliable. This thing on turn 2 is going to hit the board and end the life of whatever it touches. I mean, we could monkey around with the guns and stuff if we really wanted to, but no. This is the way. Just Hive Lords that rips the heart out of whatever they land next to. Yeah. Next unit we got is the Prime Warrior, 80 points, quality 4, defense 4, hero, hive bond, toughness 6. Shredder gun for 2 shots with rending at 18 inches and 3 attacks AP 1 with heavy razor claws. So here we have the Hive Bond boost, Rapid Charge Aura, Furious Aura, Increased Shooting Range Aura. I love how this one is so much more expensive than it was on the Hive Lord, right? Let's see, your Hive Lord. Yeah, it's 5 points. No, it's a... Yeah, Hive Lord is 15 points versus this one's 35, because this one can go for a squad. And then we have a Caster 2. So you can replace the Shredder gun with Heavy Razor Claws for 3 attacks AP 1, Spitter gun, 1 shot 24 blast 3, Twin Spine guns, 4 attacks 12-inch range AP 1, Heavy Ravager gun, 3 shots AP 1 ruptured 18, a Barb gun, 1 shot AP 2 blast 3 at 30, or an Acid Launcher, 1 shot 30 inches AP 2 deadly 3 and unstoppable. Unstoppable is one of the special rules now, 3.5. Ignores regeneration, ignores all negative modifiers to this weapon. These used to be anti-aircraft guns. But now with all the negative modifiers to hit, this just cuts through all of it. So Unstoppable is a pretty, it's up there on the cost, points cost for special rules, but man, at 3.5, it's worth it. You can upgrade this guy with wings for ambush and flying, and you can replace any heavy razor claw with serrated blades for AP4, piercing spikes for AP2 deadly 3, smashing club AP2 blast of 3, slashing blade AP1 rending, or a razor whip for bane and precise. So if I was gonna build a Prime Warrior, it's made to go into like your larger, more elite units like the Hive Warriors, Ravenous Beasts, maybe. Probably not because he's that fast. Venom Beasts, Hive Guardians, maybe even Synapse Beasts. I don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. But Prime Warrior is like your medium strength buffing / combat character. Like we could tool him up for melee, give it a Furious Aura to give Furious to the squad he's in, some heavy razor claws, and go down here. And we do some serrated blades. There we go, 115 points. It's going to be increasing the combat ability the squad is in. Plus, here we go, we got 2 attacks. It'll be 4 attacks at AP4. Or really any of these options, because all these are 5 points. The Razor Whips, let's see here. The Razor Whips would give you, you're tough to 6, so you can still get 8 attacks and not break the Balval. But there you go. It'll be 8 attacks, Bane, which ignores regeneration, and you got to re-roll 6s against it with precise, so it'll be hitting on a 3. At 145, I'm not a big fan of the Razor Whips, just because I tend to fight against heavier stuff. If it was fighting against like it was fighting against goblins, hint, foreshadowing, yeah, this would be an okay weapon, but if I was, if I didn't know who I was fighting against, go right for that serrated blade. Make those attacks AP4. There's no reason not to. Next we got the Snatcher Lord. 80 points, quality 3, defense 4, fast hero, hive bond, scout, strider, toughness 3. Now that I've said I'm going to scrub hive bond, watch, I'm going to get it right every time. We got heavy claws for 4 attacks, AP1 with rending. And not very many options with this. It's just the upgrade slot for the unit auras. We have a Rapid Charge, Shielded, Furious, and Caster 2. Now, did this always used to have Caster 1, or am I thinking of like the Soul Snatcher cults? I might be thinking of those that always come with Caster 1. But a fast character that has a Rapid Charge aura to give it and its squad an additional 4 inches on top of that 4 inches, meaning this squad is going to be, it's going to be charging 20 inches. Oh, with Scout and Strider. Oh, you're not going to be able to hide from these, baby. They're going to go where they want to, anywhere they want to. Of course, they're going to be going with the where are they at? The snatchers. Where are they at? The soul snatchers. So it's pretty much made to go with this squad, and we'll tool this up to something special when we get there. Next, we have the Grunt Veteran, a new hero for 3.5. A little dude to give your grunts a little bit extra boost. Starts off at 20 points, real cheap. Quality 5, defense 5, hero, hive bond, strider, toughness 3. Comes with 2 attacks with razor claws. You can give it a rapid charge aura, shielded aura, furious aura, or increased shooting range aura. You can replace its claws with clubs, spikes, slashing blades, or serrated blades. You can upgrade it with a veteran bio spinner, spinner, bio spinner, spiner. 3 shots at 6 inches AP1, a veteran bio borer for 3 shots at 12, or a veteran bio ravager 2 shots at 18 with AP1. You could upgrade it with assault breed to give it fast, winged breed to give it ambush and flying, or a psycho breed to give it resistance. And then you could upgrade it with one of these toxin cysts to give it bane and melee, adrenaline fueled for agile, which means you can get it to go even faster. Oh no. And combat mutations to give it piercing growth. Okay, so I mean, this guy's not meant to run on his own, but the funny thing is, if you're looking for a way to get more activations than your opponent, just for activation, priority, and you didn't max out on your heroes, you should do it for 20 points. Just take a base grunt veteran, go hide him in the back corner of the board, or, I mean, you could even put him close to like a backline objective, and just let him sit. I mean, it's 20 points. It's just one of those utility things you could put in your pocket that just works. So that's going to be it for the heroes. We're going to talk about this grunt veteran pretty soon because we are going into the grunts, starting off with my favorite grunts, the assault grunts. 110 points for 10 of them. Quality 5, defense 5, fast, hive bond, and strider with 2 attacks apiece in close combat. Base. You can replace 2 of the claws for piercing claws for deadly, smashing claws for blast, slashing claws for AP1 and rending, or serrated claws for AP4. You can upgrade all of them to have either agile, bane in melee, or piercing growth. So let's build us something silly. Let's do a full-blown assault squad. Something you're going to launch at the enemy, turn 1, go get them, rip their faces off. So here we're going to go agile to give them an extra 2-inch charge. Then we're going to go grunt veteran, join the assault grunts, give it fast to keep up, give it agile, and then give it rapid charge aura. We have an 18-inch charging just chaff unit. So this is going to be used to just muck up the middle of the field. This is ridiculous for only 270 points. 21 models for 270 points. And just with weight of attacks alone, they're going to rip through any other chaff units the enemy might have. And then once they kill that chaff unit, if the enemy shoots into them, it's kind of hard to shoot a block of 20 and kill 10 of them. Like you gotta put 2 or 3 activations into this before these guys even have to start testing for morale. And I think that's pretty cool. Let's see. Let's juice them up a little bit. Let's say you want to get some butt behind it. Let's do 4 serrated claws, 2 and 2. Take this guy, give him the serrated claws as well. Where are they at? Serrated blades. 320 points. Here we have 10 AP4 attacks going into it. Let's say you only wanted to do the 6-inch charge, but you still wanted to be very combat effective. Furious Aura. There we go. Now every time you roll a 6, you get extra hits. At least when you charge. 330 points. We're getting kind of up there as far as, I'd be willing to spend here. But, just to go back down to rapid charge. Free. 270. I wouldn't be surprised if I was building a grunt or a chaff focus list to just bring 2 of these. Just do launch turn 1. Here, deal with this. One last thing before we move on. The way I built those, I would not worry about the piercing growth. Piercing growth is cool, but I don't expect them to last to turn 3. If they do last to turn 3, I feel like I'm going to win the game anyways without this, because the enemy, obviously we've killed enough of the enemy to where, yeah, it won't matter. It's a cool rule, but I don't need it on this squad. Next, we're going to go to the shooter grunts. 110 points again, quality 5, defense 5, hive bound, and strider. Come with bio spinners for 2 shots at 6 inches with AP 1, and 1 attack apiece with the razor claws. So we can replace the bio spinners with bio borers for 2 shots at 12, or bio ravagers 1 shot AP 1 at 18. You can replace up to 2 of the spinners with bio plasma for 1 shot 12 inches AP 4, 1 shot AP 4 deadly 3 at 6, 2 shots at 9 inches with rending, 1 shot blast 3 reliable 6-inch flamer, or a bio spiker 1 shot AP 1 reliable with takedown. So, ooh, it's like a shorter. Okay, you get a sniper. You get a sniper in there. It's interesting. You could upgrade all of them with either agile, bane in melee, or piercing growth. So piercing growth is not melee only. You can get it also on your guns. So for shooter grunts, the best way I've seen these run, and the way I would run them, is just as a, God, these things are so annoying. What these are used for. Like, say I took assault grunts and then I'm also taking shooting grunts. Assault grunts are running forward. They're just tearing through stuff until they flame out somewhere on the other side of the board. The shooter grunts are moving up behind those, and they are moving to within like 2 inches of the enemy, unloading on stuff, and then just standing there as a roadblock. Again, combined with the assault grunts, this would be like the second wave of BS being thrown at the enemy. These guys are cheap enough to where they're there to just contest objectives. They're not going to take objectives from the enemy. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, they're hitting on a 5, 2 shots apiece at AP1 at 6 inches. You're going to want to get within that 6 inches. You're going to want to be hugging the enemy, because you're just there to be an annoyance. You are there just to be like, I am standing here as a body that you have to waste an activation to get rid of. Now, earlier on in the game, especially turn 1 and 2, they are more concerned with the assault grunts. The shooter grunts are probably just going to be pretty much ignored, I think, at least in my mind. There's so many. God, this army is full of so much. Alien Hives are so strong, guys. Just, God, there's so many ideas I have to run this army. Yeah, I mean, okay, let's see. You could put a grunt veteran with them. The only thing I can really give them is either the shielded aura to give them, +1 to defense rolls. And then you're still only going from a 5 to a 4. Meh. Again, best defense is just don't get shot. Do not let the eyes of the enemy fall upon you. Rapid charge, you don't care. Furious, you don't care. Increased shooting aura. The way I'm talking about using them to run forward and just hug the enemy, increased shooting aura would not. It wouldn't help you, because you're gonna be within like 3 inches. So, yeah, best way in my mind to run them base, run them cheap, and just be another layer of annoyance. Now, our next one is the Psycho Grunts. 10 of those for, again, 110 points, quality 5, defense 5, hive bond, resistance, and strider. They have 1 attack apiece, which is rending. So this opens up a little bit of something. Resistance, let's see here. They have an extra 6-up save. They got 5 and then a 6. Nothing spectacular. We got synaptic relay for spell conduit. So these guys are they're spell relays. You have a caster, you can sit it further back and just start launching stuff out of these guys' eyeballs while they're up there getting chewed on. And then we have the same agile, bane in melee, and piercing growth attacks or upgrades. So, Psycho Grunts. I'm going to tell you right now, Spell Conduit, I don't run Psychers, but if you do run Psychers, take a squad of these, put that on there to just extend the range of your spells 12 inches in one direction. What I would do if I was running this, Psycho Grunts, the only reason I would take Psycho Grunts if I already took 3 Assault Grunt squads. Because, Force Organization, you can't take more than 3. These guys are going to be good. They're going to be doubled up. It's going to be at least 200-point squads. Maybe if I got points left over, Psycho Grunts. Let's see here. If we put a Grunt Veteran with those, let me get rid of these. Grunt Veteran to the Psycho Grunts, just to keep the resistance. We got to put the Psycho Breed on there. Switch it over to this to give it rending attacks, just to hang out with the rest of the squad. Maybe a Furious Aura on there. Take this, combine that. So here we got, what is it? We got 20 attacks, hitting on a 5, with rending, 6s explode. 22 attacks overall. Means 275. The AP4 from the rending, half of your attacks are going to be AP4. They're at least the ones that hit. But yeah, I would use these guys like this, just as a heavier duty version than the Assault Grunts. They have less attacks, but the rending kind of balances that out in my mind. In case there's anything with regeneration, you're going to ignore it right off the bat. It might be worth, having one squad of these and then having one or probably 2 squads of the Assault Grunts with the Grunt Veteran in there, giving them the rapid charge. This, there we go. Then we do this. Okay, here we go. We got 2, 4, 6. We got 63 models, just 775 points. That's the initial push. That is the initial deal with this line that you're throwing at the enemy. Now that I've done it, 775. That's not that expensive at all. There's some armies out there where this would just be a squad of like 2 squads of 3 guys would hit this number, and you got 63 of them. Okay, stop it, Fitz. You are not building another 100-something model army this week. We're doing big guys. But this is just the grunts are viable. They're viable, and even better, the winged grunts. 130, quality 5, defense 5, ambush, flying, and hive bond. 2 shots, AP 1 at 6, and razor claws for 1 attack. So these are the shooter grunts, except they got wings, so they can ambush. They don't have Strider because they have flying. He's even better. Okay, let's see here. Everything I said about the shooter grunts you do with the winged grunts. Oh wait, let me go over stuff. They have the same upgrades too. The Bio Boar, Bio Ravager, all the same weapon options, and here. So yeah, moving past. Everything I said with the shooter grunts, you could do with the winged grunts. You could do it with the winged grunts even better because you ambush behind the enemy and then just start hugging stuff in the backfield. Let's say the enemy has like a Battle Brother Combat Walker somewhere back there. It's waiting to move forward to charge into your Hive Lords or your Carnival Rexes. These hit the ground, they run right in front of that Combat Walker, do a little U-shape around it, and pretty much they're forcing that Combat Walker to deal with the Winged Grunts for this turn. It's one activation. Is going to be to take out these Winged Grunts, or it's going to have to activate something else to take out the Winged Grunts so the Combat Walker can go do what it wants to do. Now, if you do that, these guys are going to die, but that's their job. So I would keep it as a unit of 10. A unit of 20 is 260 points. That's a bit expensive, and I mean, you could block off a lot of real estate with this. No, just sorry, brain going into weird spots. Okay, yeah, just stick with the 10. Stick with the 10 and go hug stuff and give a bunch of shots at AP1. Who knows? You could spike your dice with these 5 dudes or 10 dudes, and you could cause that Combat Walker to make a morale test. If you guys can't tell, I love cheap units that are just, oh, so good. Next we go to the one grunt squad that I really don't like that much. The support grunts, 140 points, quality 5, defense 5, hive bond, relentless, and strider. So relentless, If they're shooting at something more than 9 inches away and they roll a 6 to hit, it's an extra hit. They have Ravager biocannons for 3 shots, 24 inches, indirect and rupture, and 1 attack apiece with razor claws. So you can replace the biocannons with biocannons. You replace the Ravager biocannons with biocannons here. 1-shot blast, 3 indirect and rending at 24 inches. And then we have the Agile, Bane, in melee, and Piercing Growth add-ons. So the reason why I don't like them, there's only 3 of them. 3 of them, they're very fragile. They are indirect with a relatively long range of 24. So if I got a random 140 points kicking around that I can spend, and I've taken everything that I want and have a cohesive game plan, these are not a terrible option, but they don't fit into my game plan with these. If I was making a Alien Hives gun line, yeah, sure. But you've got so much push in this army that these biocannons, they're just, I mean, the only thing they would be useful against is if something's hiding. And if something is hiding from you, it's not going to be able to hide for long because everything else with enough speed, they're going to get to it. 5. Okay, so let's just do the math real quick. You only got 9 shots with this. So 9 shots is going to give you 2. It's going to give you 3 hits. Right? Yeah, 3 hits by the math. With Relentless, it's going to turn it into either 4 or 5. And then the only thing you have on them is a Rupture. Unmodified results of 6 to hit, and then if they roll a 1, so you might be looking at 3 or 4 kills for 140 points. Again, it could fit into your game plan well, but my mind does not compute. Next, we got Soul Snatchers. Here's another awesome unit. 160 points, quality 3, defense 4, fast, hive bond, scout, and strider. 2 attacks apiece, AP1 with rending, and their only option is caster 1 with Mind Snatcher. So, Snatcher Lord, put that in the unit. If you're going to bring Snatchers, take a Snatcher Lord. And the funny, you want to do a funny? Furious Aura. Look, we did a funny. This, 420 points. Now we're getting pricey. But, Scout, Strider, Fast, these guys will be able to charge whatever they want. With a Furious Aura, let's see, they hit on 3s. This is 20 attacks, AP1 with rending. I don't know what the math is off the top of my head. I'm Orc. I failed calculus. I got to remedial algebra. In my mind, that's going to do some damage. I mean, anything that's not a armor 2, it's just going to rip in half. Even stuff that is armor 2, because they're rending. There's so many attacks here. Plus extra hits that are going to be at AP1. We're bumping it up to a 3. Yeah, let me show you guys a little something that I do sometimes. Whenever I'm indecisive about things. I go to Google. I type in dice roller. Here we go. Ta-da! Let's see, what was that? It's 24 attacks all hitting on a 3. So 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 24 attacks. Oh, look at all them 6s. So roll. Get rid of the 1s and 2s. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12. 16 hits. Plus 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 6s. So we're going to take the first 4 dice, call those AP4. Let's say you're hitting something with defense 2. So that's going to be 1 save there. Click off the saves. So there we go. These were AP4. The rest were only AP1. Oh, I didn't roll a single 2 in that. So these were cold dice. These were cold dice, but we still did 6 wounds to it. So it's still a morale test on most stuff. Let's do that again. And through the power of editing. All right, here we got a hot dice roll. And for that, we did 7 rending out of 24. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we got 14 wounds on something that's defense 2. Is it, mathematical? No. This is more of a practical. And, I mean, you could sit here and you could just, you just roll over and over again. Just kind of simulating dice rolls. I used to do this before with dice on the table, but then my wife would yell at me going, what the hell is with all the noise? So yeah. Soul Snatchers, 420 points. Giggity. It's a little bit more expensive than, you know, your grunt squads, but a little bit more effective too. And if, especially if you're playing a person who plays 40k, they are going to want to kill your Snatcher squads because they're having nightmares of Gene Stealers. Next unit we got is the Hive Swarm. 70 points, quality 5, defense 6, Hive Bond, Strider, and toughness 3, with 3 attacks apiece with Bane, and you can upgrade them all to have Spine Shooters, 4 shots, AP 1 at 12 inches. So, I feel like they used to have Ambush. They don't have that option anymore. So, let's see, we got a Chaff unit, it's a Swarm unit, quality 5, defense 6, cheap enough, 70 points. Let's add this on there. 115. 12 shots, quality 5, AP 1. You're not going to live if the enemy looks at you with your whole defense 6. Defense 6, toughness 3. I mean, maybe if you have this as like a third line behind your assault and your shooter, grunts, this thing could be coming up there, also doing what the shooter grunts are doing, hugging objectives, being annoying. At that point, we're going to have a lot of activation on the board and not much left over for like big old hammer units. So you could use these instead of the shooter grunts. I mean, you get 2 extra shots, 6-inch more range. Definitely annoying because you're swarm. They're low on my pick me squads. Like I would pick these guys towards the end if I had points left over and if I maxed out on what I could take with some of the other things. But yeah, I mean, they're still a pretty viable unit. Longer range than the shooter grunts, more shots than 10 shooter grunts for only 5 points more. Not bad. Next, we got Hive Warriors. Let's talk about some bigger guys here. 110 points, quality 4, defense 4, Hive Bond, and toughness 3. 2 attacks apiece with Razor Claws. You can replace the Razor Claws with a Ravager Gun, 3 shots at 18, a Spitter Gun, 1-shot blaster at 24, Twin Spine Guns, 4 shots AP 1 at 12. You can replace the Ravager Gun, so you got to take the 10-point Ravager Gun, for a Shredder Gun for Rending, a Heavy Ravager Gun for Rupture, Barb Gun for Blast of 3, or an Acid Launcher for Deadly 3 and Unstoppable. You can give them all wings for Ambush and Flying. You can upgrade one model with the Unpredictable Fighter Mark, pretty much to point at whatever they're going to be fighting and either give them AP +1 or +1 to hit. You can replace any Razor Claw with a Slashing Blade for Rending, a Razor Whip for Bane and Precise, or Serrated Blades for AP 4. And you can replace one Razor Claw in the squad with a Piercing Spike for 1 attack, AP 2, Deadly 3, or a Smashing Club, 1 attack, AP 2, and Blast 3. So let's build us a squad here. Let's say you wanted to make a melee squad. I would do this. Give them some wings, give them a couple of serrated blades with the Unpredictable Fighter Mark. So we got 4 at AP 4, and that's going to be 8 at AP nothing, maybe AP 1 from Unpredictable Fighter, but I'm hoping to get the +1 to hit. And then we would put a Prime Warrior with the squad if we wanted to. We would have to give him wings, and just because, I would give him the serrated blades. So, oh, we get rid of the Shredder Gun too, because we don't want the Shredder Gun. More Heavy Razor Claws, more serrated blades. There we go. So this squad overall comes in at 320, 8 attacks at AP 4, 8 attacks, AP nothing. The guys with AP nothing, they're going to be ablative models for your guys that are rocking the AP 4. I would definitely do 2 Razor Claws, 2 Razor Claws, and 2 serrated blades on one guy. That way, you know, you can lose 2 models and still be very combat effective with the AP 4. As far as what I would give them, absolutely furious. There we go. 340 points. Not too shabby. Yeah, that's a pretty good assaulting squad. Definitely muck up a lot of stuff. Again, while your grunts are running forward, this is going to drop down in between those or in between the enemy. And with the flying, in case you need to activate these guys first. Go take out a priority target. They can launch themselves over top of the grunt squads to go charge something. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Let's see if I wanted to shoot with them. This is going to take a minute. I'll be right back. Okay, for shooting. If I wanted to use these for shooting, the best I can come up with is 2 spitter guns for 24-inch blast, and then the barb gun for a 30-inch blast with the AP2. It's only 180 points, so it's relatively cheap for this. 3 blasts to get thrown out there. I mean, I wouldn't prioritize them as a shooting squad. I would definitely take them as an assaulting squad, but I mean, it's cheap enough at 180. If you got that just kicking around, why not? And then if you do them shooting, there's absolutely no reason to put the Prime Warrior with them. The only thing he can give them is the increased shooting range aura that would help out their shooting, and an extra 6 inches. You don't need that. You already got 24 and 30. You're good. Next unit we're looking at are the Ravenous Beasts. I put extra letters in there. I'm sorry. Whatever. 135 points. Quality 4, defense 4. Fast, high bond, strider, and toughness 3. Comes with 6 razor claws, so each of them carrying 2 for 2 attacks. So overall, you got 12 attacks with this squad. You can give them burrowing strike for ambush. Ambush with these is nice. I'll get to the rest in a minute. Ambushing is good because you're ambushing and fast. In case the enemy has one of those abilities to push you out of 12 inches, you go, I charge 16. I don't care. And then for weapons, you can replace the razor claws with slashing blades for rending, razor whips for bane and precise, or serrated blades to give them all AP4. You can also replace 1 razor claw with a piercing strike for deadly 3 and a smashing club for blast of 3. And what I used to do last time I ran Ravaging Beasts, just max out ambushing, fast, 12 attacks at AP4. You're only hitting on a 4, but I mean that's enough. It's 240 points, so it feels a bit expensive. Defense 4, toughness 3, but if used in conjunction with all of the grunts and stuff, there is so much stuff flying around the board that the enemy is dealing with. Just, if I went hard in the paint on an alien hive army, it would be organized chaos. It would just be pandemonium on the board. I would have stuff everywhere, charging everything. There's so much in this army. So much. But I'm building a big guy list because I promised somebody I would try a big guy list. Okay, Ravaging Beasts, Ravenous Beasts, good squad. Definitely good squad. Moving on to the Venom Beasts. 3 of them for 150 points, quality 4, defense 4, hive bound, regeneration to start off with, and toughness 3. They have poison spurts. Poison spurts. Bane, blast at 3, 1 attack at 12, and toxin claws for 1 attack apiece with Bane. You can replace the poison spurts with whip limbs that give them 4 attacks, Bane and precise for 45 points, and you can give them a shrouding mist, which gives them a stealth buff to give 1 friendly unit within 12 stealth. So I can tell you right off the bat, if I was making some kind of a gun line, the Venom Beasts sitting there just giving out stealth, it's pretty good. Pretty good. And with defense 4, regeneration, and toughness 3, they're going to be around for a little bit. And it just... Poison spurts. This name's hilarious. Again, if I was shooting, I would keep the spurts to just guard whatever they're guarding. You know, deal with stuff that gets close. As far as melee-wise, I mean, that would be 12 attacks with Bane and precise. It's 195 points of that there. I wouldn't use that. Again, you might love Venom Beasts. They might fit into your game plan, but nah, not mine. Next, we have Hive Guardians. 3 of them for 150 points. Quality 3, defense 3, hive bond, relentless, and toughness 3. And we have 2 attacks apiece with razor claws. 2 of those for each Hive Guardian. So again, you're looking at 12 attacks. You can replace, any model may replace 1 razor claw with a heavy ravager gun, shock harpoon, or a skewer cannon. Ooh, we're in interesting territory here. Battle pheromones for unpredictable fighter. You can do the slashing blades, razor whip, or serrated blades, and you replace one razor claw with a piercing spike or a smashing club. Melee wise, we could do what the warriors did, but gun wise, we could do a bit more. So defense 3, toughness 3. You're going to be around longer, but you also have relentless. And whenever I see relentless, I don't want to waste it. I would not make these into a melee squad. Let's do some guns. And this skewer cannon, 2 shots apiece, AP4 and unstoppable at 30. That is calling my name. 375. 375 for 6 shots AP4 with exploding 6s over 9, and it's unstoppable, so I don't care if you're hiding. I don't care if you're a flyer. Let's see here. 6 shots hitting on a 3. You're going to be hitting 4 of those. You're at least going to cause an aircraft to roll a morale test. Let's see. If I get rid of this and go to the shock harpoon, AP2 deadly 4, or no, AP2 deadly 3, 1 shot 24. I mean, it's a way to get some deadly shooting in there, but oh yeah, I'm making orc noises. Yeah, I would still, skewer cannons I think would be the way to go. Just because, you know, relentless, unstoppable, AP4. That's a great combination. Pretty expensive, but I mean, gun line, you're going to be back there. This might be a good one if you're taking a gun line with put the venom beasts on them, give them the stealth buff, -1 to hit, defense 3, toughness 3. They'll last. They will last. As far as an assault element goes, I would not, because you lose out on the relentless stuff and defense 3. Yes, I mean, defense. I'm not. If I'm making an assault army, an assault alien hives army, this defense 3 doesn't impress me much. I don't know. My mind is really weird about that. Like, compared to other people, high defense units to me, there's a weird trade-off. I would rather have all low defense army, like all having defense 5 or defense 6, because that does 2 things. 1, makes you cheaper. And 2, if the enemy invested in like AP4, it's wasted points. So if I started putting stuff in here like defense 3, if the enemy does have anything that's AP4 or AP3, it knows exactly who to target with those. And I'd rather them be fighting grunts instead of hive guardians. So yeah, I can see this is a good unit, just not in my wheelhouse. Next unit, we got Shadow Leapers. 3 of them for 190 points. Quality 3, defense 4, hive bond, scout, stealth, strider, and toughness 3. 2 attacks, piece of razor claws. We have some of the same stuff as before. We got slashing blades, razor whips, or serrated blades, along with the one of those can be a piercing strike or a smashing club. Shadow Leapers, they can't. They used to be able to infiltrate. They used to be able to ambush. I think they used to be able to infiltrate. There is no option for that. So, same thing as I've been saying before. If I was going to take a mid-sized melee squad, I would do it with Hive Warriors. Start off at 80 points cheaper. You have this. Well, Shadow Leapers are quality 3. Quality 3, but the 80 point difference. The 80 points difference is enough to where I would still take the Hive Warriors over the Shadow Leapers. Because again, okay, little way my mind works. Let's see, Shadow Leapers, let's tool up the same way as we did before. Serrated blades for 2 of them, serrated blades for 2 of these. How do I do it again? There we go. We got 220 versus 140. Same number of attacks. The only thing different when it comes to combat is these guys are +1 quality. Stealth, not really going to matter that much because they're going to be up close to a lot of stuff. Ooh, they do have Scout, though. Is Scout worth 80 points? That's a question. If they had Fast, absolutely. But with just Scout on a standard speed squad, they also got Striders, so you can hide them in like hard, difficult terrain, like stuff that they're blocked line of sight wise. Not really. I can see it though, but they hit that break point for me where I'd rather take something else. Again, not knocking you if you love Shadow Leapers. Just it's close. That was close. Close, close, close. So let's look at Synapse Beasts. These, on the other hand, are pretty good. I think so. Let's see what they look like now. 200 points for 3 of them. Quality 4, defense 4, caster group. So in this case, you get caster 3. If you combine those up to 400 points, you're now caster 6 every turn. Let's not do that yet. Hive bond, resistance, and toughness 3. Side blasts for 1 shot at 18 inches of blast 3 and 1 attack apiece. We have our spells. And yeah, that's it. There's no upgrades to it. You are a spell slinging, blast throwing, floating brain with an extra 6 up to save. Or is it 2 if it's a spell? When it comes to casters, the thing that... Okay, yeah, here you get caster 6. So, like, you could launch, if you want to go full-on assault, you could launch a Hive Shriek, a Psychic Blast, and an Overwhelming Strike, all at the same turn, all at different targets. So, effectively, between their shooting, you could attack 4 different targets in one turn. Fun little combination if you come up against somebody who has this, like a medic in the squad, like, say, Battle Brothers, if they have one of those banners that gives them all regeneration. Just float up with your Synapse Beast, send out a Hive Shriek where you get to pick the model and just be like, boom, you're no longer regenerating. And then you hit it with a Psychic Blast, an Overwhelming Strike, and then the blasts from your side blasts. That could do a bit of damage. A bit of damage. What is it, 400 points worth of damage? I don't know. If the offensive spells were like bigger, I think they used to be bigger, so I think this used to be scarier than it is looking to me at this moment. So, 400 points. This is a bit steep. The problem is, if you don't combine them, because you lose the caster group stuff every turn, you're only ever going to be caster 3 with this. If you're running a really psychic heavy list, I could see running these as a squad of 3, just to hand off caster tokens to like your main casters. But I don't know if I was going to run this like as a squad on its own. It's either 6 or nothing for me, because we all know I suck at casting. If I could have 6 casting dice and put them all into Hive Shriek and still somehow roll a 1. That's just my luck with spells. So yeah, Synapse Beasts, I can see it. I can see them being scary. But you know what else is scary? The 20 Hive Grunts. The 20 Assault Grunts that this would pay for. So, yeah. Ooh, next we got Spores. Our little floating brain bombs. 5 of them for 75 points. They have no retreat, self-destruct 2, and slow with 1 attack apiece. So the last army that I used bombs in was my Retmen. And I had a lot of fun just with the psychological effect that a unit of bombs can have. They were able to lock down whole sections of the board because nobody wants to get charged by spores and just flat die. I mean, the self-destruct rule is hilarious. If someone charges you, you don't care because you're going to die and you're going to blow up in their face. If you get a charge on somebody, you get 5 rolls to try to hit with a 6 for an extra hit. Normally what I would do is if I was able to get a charge off with the bombs or something, I would just roll 5 dice, and if I got any 6s, like say I got 2 6s out of 5 dice, I was lucky, I would just be like, okay, you take 12 hits. Let's just roll this right into the self-destruct. You don't roll dice, you don't need to, you just take 12 hits, and then I pull these models off the board. So spores are a fun unit. They're going to be psychologically effective on the enemy. Yeah, again, waves of grunts, spores, lock down whole sections. I mean, you could have these just sit on your home objectives, just hang out on the objective, and if anyone gets close, the enemy just knows that if you get on here to take this objective, you either have to spend a couple turns just shooting at me, or you got to charge in and just take the hits to the face. In that case, there you go. Take 20 hits to the face. This is my objective. You're going to pay for it. And what's better than spores? Massive spores. Maybe. 3 of them for 145 points. Quality 6, defense 6, no retreat, self-destruct 6. So it's a bigger blast. Slow and toughness 3. 3 attacks apiece in close combat, so if you charge somebody, you're rolling 9 dice. Whatever you hit with, add those to the self-destruct. Everything I just said for spores, you could do a massive spores. Yeah. Alright, we are in the light vehicle section. God, they have so many units over here. Let's look at the Shadow Hunter. 150 points, quality 3, defense 4, fear of 1, hive bond, infiltrate, stealth, strider, and toughness 6. This might be what I was thinking about. I thought the little ones had the infiltrate. It might just be the Shadow Hunter. We got 2 heavy razor claws for 6 attacks at AP 1. You can replace the heavy razor claws with serrated blades for AP 4, piercing strike for deadly 3, smashing club for blasted 3, slashing blades for rending, and razor whips for bane and precise. You can also give them Silent Assassin for Takedown Strike and Mind Hunter for Caster 2. Let's look at Caster 2. Okay, you can only upgrade with one of those. That makes it interesting. Interesting here, just for the Hive Streak. Okay, so let's say you're going to be infiltrating with this thing because, you got the rule, you might as well use it. So turn 1, you're not there. Turn 2, you come on with 4 casting tokens, meaning that you can cast Hive Shriek on a 3. Pretty much look at it like a 3-up sniper shot as soon as you hit the board. You could do what Shadow Hunters are known to do, take out a specific character, and then you can just wade into them with either 6 attacks at AP1, or I would go, let's see, if I was doing that, using it for a sniper that way, I would still do Serrated Blades for 4 attacks at AP4. Pocket high AP weapons. They can pop up anywhere, blast the character. It's 200 points flat. It's going to pop up. It's going to get 1 turn to activate and do damage. And then the enemy's going to look at this and go, that needs to die. Defense 4, toughness 6. Might be harder to take out, especially if you have waves of stuff hitting the enemy in the front. This thing's hitting them in the rear. Quality 3 plus Hive Bond. So your quality is going to pass, or your morale is going to pass on a 2. Yeah, I think you're doing pretty good with this. Is it worth 200 points? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less in your mind. Maybe. I like it. Next, we got the Mortar Beast. 155 points, quality 4, defense 3, fear of 1, hive bond, and toughness 6. Comes with a spore gun, 2 shots, blast 3, indirect, and shred. So if the enemy rolls a 1, they take an extra hit, or they take an extra wound at 24 inches. 3 attacks at AP1 and 2 attacks at AP1. The only thing you can do is replace the spore gun with a spore carrier to give it 5 spores for 40 points. Why though? No, ignore that. 2 shots at 24, blast 3 with indirect. This thing is good if you're doing gunline. This thing is okay at 155, even if you're doing like a grunt rush, like I was talking about before. Just because it can fire up and over your own stuff to go explode at stuff that they're probably going to be good at. They're going to be up in its face anyways because they have the extra fast and all that. I don't know. It'd be fun to have one of these just in your pocket. If you got the points to spend, sure. Next, we got the Synapse Tyrant. This used to be a hero. It no longer is. 180 points, quality 4, defense 4, caster 3, fear of 1, hive bond, resistance, and toughness 6. Comes with a heavy psi stinger, 4 shots AP1 with a rupture at 18. And then psi shock for 3 attacks in close combat. We got our spells here. And then you can replace the heavy psi stinger with heavy psi torrent. 2 shots AP1, blast 3, reliable at 9 inches, so it's a short range heavy flamer. And then a heavy psi blast for 2 shots AP1, blast 3 at 18. Comes at caster 3. It's going to be using the buffing spells and stuff. The only thing I would change if I was going to be taking it, I would probably do... No, nothing. I would keep the heavy psi stinger on there. 4 shots AP1 rupture in my mind is better than 2 shots AP1 blast 3. Just because this isn't reliable. So you're going to be hitting on a 4 regardless. Extra shots, rupture, don't care about that too much. But the extra shots here let you attack stuff that's like the onesie twosies that are left over after the rest of your army runs forward and just nom stuff. 180 points, cheap enough. It's cheaper than the Synapse Beasts. Yeah, here we go. Cheaper than the Synapse Beasts. Comes with the same casting power. caster group, this would be 3. He comes with caster 3. Fear of 1, a little bit better there. But you don't want this guy getting into combat. Toughness 4, or defense 4 on toughness 6. I mean, maybe it's the same. It's a light monster. Next, we got the Flamer Beast. 185 points, quality 4, defense 3, fear of 1, hive bond, toughness 6. Comes with Spit Flames. 2 shots at 18, AP 1, blast 3, reliable. Heavy Razor Claws for 3 attacks, AP 1. Stomp for 2 attacks, AP 1 for 5 attacks overall at AP 1. It's got no upgrades. It is a 2-shot, longer range heavy flamer. 185 points. Could be cool. But for me, stuff is going to be in this thing's way because it's going to be a carpet of grunts out in front of it. Defensively, maybe keep it back home and defend objectives. 185, I think it is a bit pricey for what's essentially is a 2-shot heavy flamer. Between its movement and the range, it has a effective threat range of 24 inches. Again, with the way I would build an Alien Hives list, this guy's going to have a whole bunch of stuff up in his way and not really be able to shoot much. But yeah, totally viable if you have some way in mind to get this guy just to continue firing that flamer until he dies. Or the game ends, whichever happens first. Next, we have the Invasion Carrier Spore. 120 points, quality 4, defense 3, ambush, hive bond, slow, toughness 6, and transport 11. Here is your transport. Ta-da! 6 attacks, AP 1, so it is a melee transport that's slow. You can give it a Shredder Gun Array for 4 shots with Rending, a Spitter Gun Array for 2 shots of Blast 3, a Barb Cannon Array for 2 shots AP2 Blast 3, or an Acid Launcher Array, 2 shots AP2 Deadly 3, Unstoppable for 90 points. And you can give it the Battle Pheromones for the Unpredictable Fighter Mark. So it's a drop pod for the Alien Hives. Turn 2, hit the ground, smash into stuff. Whatever gets out goes and does things. And yeah, the melee is interesting because even on the turn that you hit the ground, you're not going to be able to get into combat with it because you're slow. You got to drop 9 inches away, so you can only charge 8. Guns, I wouldn't put anything in the guns. I mean, maybe I do Shredder Gun Array for 4 shots with Rending just because it's the cheapest and it gives you a little bit of game impact other than just being a drop pod. As far as what I would put in it, okay, me personally, this is what I would put in it. There you go. Actually, no, I wouldn't do that. I would just take 2 different squads of spores. Why? Chaos. Oh, everything else you got's going to be able to move pretty good under its own power because, Evasion Spore. Would I do it? Yes, I would absolutely do this for the freaking lulz. Just, oh, I'm going to do that one day. Oh, I might bring this army to Adepticon. It's just chaos incarnate, just to play somebody, just to get the look on their face. All right, now we are in the monsters category, monster category, starting off with the Carnivo Rex. 280 points, quality 4, defense 2, fear 2, fearless, hive bond, toughness 12, 3 razor claws, 3 heavy razor claws for 9 attacks at AP1, and a stomp for 4 attacks at AP1, giving us a grand total of 13 attacks at AP1. You can replace any of the heavy razor claws with piercing claws for deadly 3, smashing claws for blast of 3, slashing claws for rending, serrated claws for AP4, or whip limbs for bane and precise. You can give it regeneration, and then you can replace all 3 of the razor claws with a heavy shredder cannon, heavy spitter cannon, rapid heavy ravager cannon, heavy barbed cannon, heavy acid cannon. You can replace 1 of the heavy claws with a killing scream for a breath attack. So, Carnivo Rexes. I like Carnivo Rexes. Yeah, they have plenty enough attacks here. Let's see. If I was going for a combat Rex, I, again, would just go all AP4. Make this thing into a battering ram. It's going to charge into stuff and break off a piece in it. Yeah, I would definitely go for this. Shooting wise, if I wanted to shoot with it, both versions I'd have regeneration because 2 shots, AP2 deadly 6. Becomes 430 points, but it's a possible deadly 12. hitting on a 4, that's the only downside, is you only hit on a 4. But yeah, I know. I'm making a lot of weird noises. I go through this. It is like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I've been plowing snow and dealing with snow all day. So, deal with this. Ha. Yeah, if I was going to go shooting, it would be this. You get rid of all of your claws. You give up all that to get the shooting attacks. At this point, it's acting less like a combat monster and more like just a tank of every other army. So, yeah, if you think it in that way, it's not bad. Not bad. 430 points, a little pricey, but that Deadly 6 and Unstoppable. You could make 2 4-ups, and that could be game-changing. Next, we have a Toxico Rex. Quality 4, Defense 2, Fear of 2, Fearless Hive Bond, Regeneration, and Toughness 12. We have an Acid Spurt, 2 shots at 12 with Bane and Blast 3. Then we got 4 attacks at AP 1 and 8 attacks with Whip Limbs for Bane and Precise. Then for upgrades, we have the Stealth buff from the Shrouding Mist that we saw with the Poison dudes before. And then we have Poison Mist for 1 shot, 12 inches, Bane and Blast of 6. So if I was taking this, and there's no real way to make this into a close combat monster. I mean, you got 8 attacks that hit on a 3 with Bane, so you're poisoned out. Just take the Poison Mist on top of that too. So this way you have 1 shot at 12 with Blast 6, 2 shots at 12 with Blast 3, 390 at that point. This thing is going to be the bane of enemy squads. Next we have the Psycho Rex, or what you get when you have a caster Carnivore Rex. 400 points to start off with. Quality 4, Defense 2, Caster 3, Fear of 2, Fearless, Hive Bond, Resistance, and Toughness 12. Comes with a Heavy Size Stinger, 4 shots AP1 with Ruptured 18, 6 attacks at AP1 with a Heavy Razor Claws, and 4 attacks at AP1 with Stomp. Ooh, we do have some options. We can replace the Heavy Size Stinger with Heavy Razor Claws for more attacks, and a Psi Frenzy for regenerative strength. Or we can replace the Heavy Size Stinger with a Heavy Psi Torrent or Heavy Psi Blast. Let's take a look at this here. Regenerative Strength. Yeah, this is the one where you get plus attacks whenever you regenerate stuff. But you only have resistance. So it's on a 6. Or a 2 if it's a spell. If the enemy's throwing around a lot of spells, that might make this guy really, really ridiculously strong. You get rid of the gun, you have 16 attacks AP1. That's not that bad. You might get 1 or 2 more out of this. More again if the enemy's using a lot of spells. Along with the casting ability, not bad. Not bad at all. 425 points, it's a bit steep for this, but I mean it's got... Okay, yeah, it works. Points-wise, it works. Would it be for me? No, because I don't really like casting stuff. This guy will roll nothing but 1s whenever I cast, just because that's the way my luck runs. So, I mean, it could be good for somebody who is good with casting stuff. Not for me, though. Next, we have a much feared model, the Hive Burrower. 385 points, quality 4, defense 2, ambush, fear of 3, fearless, hive bond, and toughness 15. Comes with 3 Razor Claws for 9 attacks at AP1, and then 5 more from a Stomp at AP2. Let's see, we can get rid of the Claws and give it Whip Limbs and an Acid Spurt. We can replace Deep Deployment Ambush with Surprise Attack, yes. And we can upgrade it with Venom Burrower for Regeneration and Stealth, or Synapse Burrower for Caster 3 and Resistance. Okay, so you can make a lot of stuff in this army casters. And then we have the replace Heavy Razor Claws with Piercing Claws, Smashing Claws, Slashing Claws, Serrated Claws, or Whip Limbs. So I'm going to tell you right now, 470 points. This is the standard Burrower. This is the one that is going to cause the most number of headaches. It went down to quality 4. It used to be quality 3, but it used to be a whole lot more expensive. Surprise attack for a possible 6 hits at AP1 when it pops up next to something. 5 attacks AP2, 9 attacks AP4. This thing is a close combat monster. It's toughness 15 with defense 2. It's going to take a lot of dedication to have this guy get put down. So, yeah, this is definitely good. Definitely good. If you're playing an Alien Hives person, you're probably going to see one of these. It's just the way it is. Next, we have the Tyrant Heavy Beast, 440 points, quality 4, defense 2, fear of 3, fearless hive bond, toughness 15. Comes with a biopod for 12 shots at 24, a stinger launcher for 6 shots at 18 with rupture, and a stomp, 5 attacks AP2. You can give it regeneration. You can switch out one of the stinger launchers, so it's only got one, so you switch that out with a barb launcher or an acid spike launcher for either blast or deadly 3 unstoppable. And you replace the biopod with a toxic spray or a fracture cannon. I like it. Slap some regeneration on there, make it 490. This thing is toughness 15 with regeneration. It ain't going nowhere. You can make this thing a deadly monster. You can just do this here and make deadly 18 shots. 2 of these here are unstoppable. I mean, that's nice. 580, but it's going to be doing 580 points worth of damage against the enemy's big stuff. Pretty good. Next, we have the Spawning Heavy Beast. 445, quality 4, defense 2, fear 3, fearless hive bond, toughness 15. Comes with 3 stinger launchers for a combined total of 18 shots at 18 inches with rupture, 3 attacks at AP1, 5 attacks at AP2. You can give it the side barrier for resistance. You can replace the stinger launchers with a barb launcher or an acid spike launcher, and you can give it a spawning ability. So we have either hive swarms, shooter grunts, or salt grunts. And then you can give it unpredictable fighter. So you are paying a little bit more for the squads that you spawn in. But with that in mind, this thing's no slouch on its own with 18 shots. Pretty darn good. So it's not, it favors shooting more than close combat. I would say if it was me, I would put some shooter grunts in there. Put some shooter grunts in to 1, protect this thing, and 2, so they can go hug an objective like I was talking about before. 565, we're talking big money plays here now. Still pretty good. Next we have the Devourer Heavy Beast, 430 points, quality 4, defense 2, fear of 3, fearless hive bond, and toughness 15. Comes with a Devouring Tongue with takedown. 3 shots AP2, deadly 3 at 12 inches. This model may pick any model in the target unit as its individual target. My question, I don't know the answer to this. Genuine question. We have 3 of those, but it's 1 weapon. Could we choose 3 different individual models in the enemy squad, or is this all got to go to 1? I don't know the answer to that. Put it down in the comments. Let me know. Interesting weapon, either way. And then we have 3 attacks AP1, 5 attacks AP2. We can do resistance, and then we can switch out the Razor Claws with the regular big stuff attacks. Yeah, the Devouring Tongue is interesting. If you could split that up, that would be great. Because it's going to be moving forward. It's going to be in combat. It's going to be close enough. Yeah, even if it's like a heavy characters, like a Custodian Master, or like a Destroyer Squad Leader. Interesting stuff. Next, the last one in this category, we have the Artillery Heavy Beast. 570 points, quality 4, defense 2, fear of 3, fearless hive bond, and toughness 15. Comes with Shredder Bio Artillery, 3 shots, blast of 6, indirect and rending at 36 inches, and then 5 attacks AP2. We can give it resistance, and then we can switch out the Shredder Artillery with Spitter Artillery for 6 shots, blast 3 indirect to AP1. The Acid Bio Artillery for 3 shots, AP3, deadly 3 indirect. Or no, deadly 6 indirect. Or the Plasma Bio Artillery, 3 shots, AP4, blast 6 indirect. This I'm pulled to this one because that's insane. Too big to bring in 2,000 points though, but just 3 AP4 blast 6s. Ooh, buddy. Okay, on its own, 36-inch range, you're going to be able to touch whatever. Blast 6, indirect and rending. You're gonna just be the ender of chaff units with this remover of roadblocks. I would probably switch it out for the Spitter Bio Artillery. Just because blast of 3 versus blast of 6. Let's see, this doesn't have an AP, but it does have rending. This has AP 1. It's just for the utility of having smaller blasts. Like, say if you shoot at a squad of 5, you're gonna get the full blast out of stuff. You're not gonna have, shots just fall off. Yeah, I would go with this 675 for that. Oof. Next, we have the Invasion Artillery Spore. Ambush. Oh, wait. Next, we have the Invasion Artillery Spore, 170 points, quality 4, defense 3, ambush artillery, hive bond, and toughness 6. Ambushing artillery. Interesting. So you can only use hold actions, and if you shoot at something 9 inches away, it's +1 to hit. And if something over 9 inches shoot it to you, it's -2 to hit. So we got a spore gun, 2 shots to 24, blast 3, indirect, and shred, and 6 attacks in close combat. So we can get rid of the gun. We can give it either spawning spores or spawning massive spores. Kind of like I was talking about doing with the invasion carrier spore. 50 points cheaper. Let's say if we took this, we spawned 5 spores versus just putting 5 spores on there. 195 versus 190. It's the same points cost. It is the same exact points cost because it ends up being the same exact thing. Tough 6, transport 11. Okay. So a little bit of points saving there. Massive spore carrier. It's the same option, just with bigger spores. And then we can upgrade the guns. We can just upgrade it with extra guns. With shredder gun arrays, splitter gun arrays, barb cannon arrays, or acid launcher arrays. And then we do unpredictable fighter mark on top of that. We're getting into categories and things that I wouldn't even know what I would do with. 2 shots, 1 for blast, 3 indirect. I would put on, if I was going to take a gun, it would be a barb cannon array for another 110, giving us some additional shooting with some blast at a higher AP. It's not indirect, this is a direct fire weapon, but this gives you a chance to split your fire and hit multiple things at a time. 280, not terrible. Quality 4, but you're probably aiming out over 9 inches, so it's going to be hitting on a 3. And you're hard to hit back at -2 to hit. And even though it has ambush, you can just start this thing on like your deployment line and just sit there as just a tower defense. 2 more left. We have the Hive Titan. 645 points, quality 3, defense 2, fear of 3, fearless, hive bond, ravage 12, and toughness 18. Ravage 12, remember that's when you charge in, or whenever you attack, you're going to be rolling 12 dice, and for each 6, you just take a wound. 2 attacks, 6 attacks, AP2 with stomp, and then 18 attacks, AP2 with rupture. So, tons of attacks. This thing's toughness 18. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Wow, does this thing break Val because of the Ravage? I don't know. We can give it resistance, we can give it regeneration. Yeah, we can give it, get rid of the heavy claws, give it explosive spit for 2 shots, blast 6, and 6 attacks with titanic claws, AP2 and rupture. And then we can replace the warrior emissary, we can replace the Ravage with either caster 4, toughness 6 and transport 21, flying and toughness 6. The Devourer Titan gives it a tongue attack, like we saw with the Devourer thing before, or the Grasping Titan gives it a grasping tongue, 12 attacks with Bane and reliable at 18 and toughness 6. So this thing, at what I normally play at 2,000 points, 645, the only option we can even put on it is to give it Psychic, just to keep it under the 700 point limit. No, I would keep the Ravage on there. This thing is just, I would just use this as a battering ram. Just charge its stuff. Charge its stuff. Make it go die. That's it. There's other good options here for larger sized games. I don't really look at stuff larger than 2,000 points. But any of the stuff that gives it extra toughness, like the Flying Titan, defense 2, toughness 24. I would still do the battering ram. I still like the Ravage, because it goes off every time you attack. when it's this model's turn to attack in melee. So even if something charges you, if they're out of their damn mind, you still get your Ravage attacks. I think that's good enough. I would stick with that. The only other thing I would put on it is regeneration, but I can't do it at 2,000 points. Last unit is an aircraft. Rapacious Beast. 225 points, quality 4, defense 2, aircraft, fearless, hive bond, toughness 6. 2 shots at 12 inches, but blast 3 and reliable. And 1 attack, blast 6, shred, and strafing. This is where you can only use it whenever you fly over something. You can give it regeneration. You replace the caustic cannon with twin barbed guns for blast of 3, or twin acid launchers for deadly 3. And you can replace the spore bombs with a stinger spitter for 3 shots with rupture. Missile bugs, 2 shots, AP3 unstoppable. Spawn 5 spores, or spawn 3 massive spores. Interesting. Okay, you're a flyer, you're toughness 6, defense 2. I would go with regeneration just out of principle. Bumping you up to 225, or bumping you up to 245. I would want to replace the caustic cannon. The twin barb guns do give you more range. That's the only reason I want to replace it, but you lose reliable. In order to keep yourself out of harm's way, what's the aircraft rule do again? Minus 12-inch range. So nothing with a 12-inch range is even going to be able to shoot at you. So you know what? I'm going to keep on the 12-inch range here for 2 blast 3 reliable. And then the spore bombs, you move 30 inches a turn. It's blast to 6 with shred. There's no reason to remove it. So 245, all I did is put in regeneration. I like this unit. Okay, so what we are going to do now that we're at the end of the list, we are going to make an army of big dudes for me to play with today, or play with this week. Schedule's gotten kind of mixed up, so I'm going to have to choose stuff that I already have, because I haven't been able to print anything for this army. But I got quite a few different options out there for the alien hives, and I'm going to surprise everybody and start off with a Hive Titan. Ta-da, there's 645. And then I want to do a Tyrant Heavy Beast. I'm going to give it the Bio Recovery for regeneration. And then I'm going to keep everything the way it is. I like the absolute massive amount of attacks here with the Biopod. Right? Do I? Yes. Yes, I do. The Stinger Launcher, 6 attacks at 18. Let's do this. Let's give that the Acid Spike Launcher to give it a little bit of deadly, a little bit of unstoppable. So here we are with 1155 with 2 models in. Then, okay, I kind of went nuts there. Next, we're going to have a Psycho Rex, and I did give it the Heavy Razor Claw. I got rid of the Size Singer, gave it more attacks in close combat, give it the regenerative strength. Then we have a unit of Shooter Grunts. Let's see here, we're going to use that to hug an objective. There's 10 of those. We have our Meat Missile, our Grunt Veteran with the Assault Grunts. And then we just have 2 random Grunt Veterans. They're just going to be there for activation monkeys. We're going to see how that works. So yeah, here we go. Not all that many models for an army of mine, but we got some beef out there with our 3 big guys. We got, you know, a tough 12, a tough 15, and a tough 18 that are all going to be doing crazy stuff. And I think that is going to do it for me, guys. Remember to check out the sponsors we have down in the description below. We still have to make up for our missed live stream last week. We might be doing that on Monday. We're going to see what the temperature says outside. And then live stream with these guys on Thursdays. That's it. I'm done. I hope you guys are having fun playing OPR wherever you are. We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.